Hi everyone, Samantha back here for another video. Hope you're all okay and life's treating you well. Today I thought we'd look at the herringbone wrap bead. It's a lovely wrap. As you can see here, I've made a pair of earrings with the oval beads. Look how elegant and beautiful they are. Aren't they pretty? You can make these links to make bracelets. Here I've got some green agate beads. How pretty is that? And this is something else I'm working on for a bracelet. These are lapis coin beads with the herringbone wrap. You can also make them elongated to make longer earrings. I'll be doing a tutorial on these shortly, so stay tuned. How sweet are they? I love these because you can put any sort of beads you want in there. These are seed beads. You can have them for the amount of children that you've got or how many marriages you've had. So stand by and I'll do a tutorial for these little beauties at some point. Another coin bead here. That's going to be a pendant. So today, oh, and you can make rings out of them too, which will be another tutorial at some point. But today I thought we would make these. Okay. How beautiful are these with the little amethyst beads? So that's what we're making today. So if you want to gather the materials, I'll tell you what we need and we'll make these little pretties. Okay. So for the tutorial today, we're going to need 1mm wire, which will be the base wire. You're going to need some 6 or 7, possibly even 5, 0.5mm bare copper wire. We're going to go for 0.6 today. You're also going to need, as usual, your flush cutters. You're going to need chain nose pliers, as usual. And again, you know me by now, hopefully. 6-step bail making pliers or round nose, that's entirely up to you. Okay. You're also going to need a basic ruler, just so that we can measure out our lengths of our wires. You're going to need a jeweller's hammer and a steel bench block. Again, you can pick these up really relatively inexpensively on the larger online retail stores, or you guys in the States have some fantastic craft stores that we don't have here in the UK, so I'm quite jealous. So those, you're going to need those as well. And of course, you're going to need a couple of beads. Today, I'm going to be using this colour. If I can get into the bag. There we go. Okay. These are really affordable. They're just simply dyed jade, but I really like the colour of these. So we're going to need 2 size 8 beads for this particular tutorial today. So gather up all your equipment and we'll meet back and then we'll get going. Okay, so we're back here. Hopefully you've gathered all your materials by now and we can go through this step by step together. So the basic construction of these beauties is you have a central core, which is your 1mm wire. We're going to make a little paddle at the end here, just because it's pretty and easy. And then at the top, that forms the hoop in which to put your either a jump ring for your necklaces or an ear wire. Okay, so you need to take your 1mm wire and measure out a length of, I would say, approximately, let's say 3 inches to be on the safe side. You could probably get away with 2. So let's go for 2.5, meet in the middle. 2.5 inches, okay. You're going to need obviously 2 of those, so measure out 2 lengths. Okay. Lovely. So on the flush cut side, we then want to create a little paddle shape, which is this little shiny guy here at the end. Nice and elegant. Okay, so this is where your hammering comes in. I'm not the best at hammering, I have to say. There are many experts out there that will teach you how to do this in tutorials, so you just need to bear with me whilst I get it right. So what you want to do is just very gently, to start with, hammer the end of the wire with your hammer. So bear with me. Turn it over. And you'll find that if you do a sweeping motion whilst you're hammering, you won't flatten it too much and you'll get a nice rounded shape. Okay, so you're left with that kind of shape there. Okay, so I just cut the video there while I finished doing the hammering, because it's not very pleasant to listen to on camera. So once you've made this paddle shape here, you want to bring in a little file and just file down the edges, make sure that they're not sharp, because obviously this guy is going to go next to the skin, so it needs to be nice and smooth and straight. There we go. So you see that shape? That's what we're aiming for. Give it a little bit of a file. And that's the first part of the process done. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is choose the bead. Okay, so I've decided, yeah, I mean, that looks really nice against the copper, doesn't it? So we'll use an 8mm bead for these. Okay, and then this is when we start to make our wraps. Okay, so I'm going to take some wire. I'm not sure what length to use. Let's have a think. Oh, it's getting all wound up. Okay, let's have a think. Probably about, let's see, about 12 inches, 30 centimetres, something like that, just to be on the safe side. Give that a cut. There we go. There we are. So get the kinks out of your wire. If you're anything like me, you'll get lots of kinks in your wires. Okay, so right, so the way I like to do it is I work from left to right. So pop your bead on. As you can see, it won't go any further because you've got that little paddle on the end, so don't worry about that dropping off now. You want to be attaching the wire to this part of your base wire here. So right at the very end, just attach your wire by bending it over and under and squeezing and pulling so it's nice and tight. Okay, and that's your wire on. You see? Then you want to just cut this little bit of excess off here, tight as you can, just mainly so that it's not getting in the way. So now we have our wire attached and our bead. Okay, now then, because the wire here is going over the top, you want it to go over the top every time you wrap. So holding the wire taut against the bead as best you can, bend the wire round, hugging the bead closely. It'll feel all fingers and thumbs at this particular stage, but the next time you do the wrap, the easier it gets. Okay, so can you see how that's around the bead there? Over the top of the base wire, wrap underneath and round on the top. Keep everything taut and neat. Okay, this will help you as you go along. So you've got this. So we've gone over, round, over, under and back over. That makes sense? Okay, rotate your component so that now this part is on the left hand side. You want to be wrapping this one around the right hand side. So again, nice and neatly, tightly against the bead, wrap it round, okay, over the top, underneath, then back round and over the top. So you've completed your first wrap. Okay, so I'll just show you the construction. So each time we go round, we go around, over the top, underneath and back over the top. And we turn, round, over the top, underneath, back over the top. And then you just keep rotating, okay? So we're ready for our next wrap. So always remember that at this point, each one of your wraps goes behind the previous one. You see? Behind. So nice and neatly, behind, over the top, wrap it underneath, and then back over the top again. Each time. Okay, can you see that? So each time, making sure your wire is nice and straight, nice and taut, okay? So the next wrap is behind the previous one, okay? Over the top, underneath, back over the top again. Squeeze with your fingers if you have to. Okay, there are various points when you can readjust if you need to. Like with this particular one here, just need to pull that out a little bit. There you go. Okay, let's do another one. Round the back, over the top, underneath, and wrap it back over the top. Rotate. You see how I'm going behind the previous one? Over the top, underneath, and then over the top again. Okay, so you see how that's starting to take shape? I think we'll do two more. So, behind, over the top, underneath, and then wrap back over the top again. Underneath the previous, underneath, over the top, underneath, over the top, and the last one, underneath, round. Okay, so for this final one, I usually do 2 wraps and then underneath. If you need to squeeze things along a little bit, just take your chain nose. Okay, give that a snip. And come in with your chain nose and just tighten that up a little bit. Okay, so this is what we have. You see how pretty that is? So we have 5 wraps on one side and 5 wraps on the other side. Again, if you need to just readjust a little bit, you can do. Just get your nail in there, give it a bit of a squash if you have to. The whole point of these is that you know, they're supposed to look a little bit organic, so don't get too hung up about them being extra straight. I mean, some of the ones I've made, you know, are more organic looking. You can make them as straight as you like, but you know, it's one of those things. Don't worry about it. I mean, look at these guys here. They're pretty uniform, and I've brought these first wires down a little bit to sort of slightly encase the bead at the back. But you know, the whole point is that it's organic and pretty and nothing to worry about if you don't get it right first time. Okay, so the paddle at the end here, you want to bring this section down because this will move relatively freely down the base wire. So just pull until you can't pull anymore. Okay, so this is what we have, and this is what the back side looks like. So you can see the wraps here underneath when you've gone underneath and then back over. So this is what we're left with. Okay, so once you've pulled your little component, your little herringbone wrap down to the bottom, so it sits on the paddle at the bottom, so it can't go any further, you need to make your little hoop in which to attach your jump ring or your ear wire. Okay, so I know for my first step on my bail making pliers that this section here has to be around about 1 centimetre. Okay, so I'm just going to measure that and then cut. Okay, now this hoop will be this way, flat, if you want to attach an ear wire. Okay, can you see that? So just use your not bail making pliers, you'll use your chain nose pliers and bend this section away from you to about this kind of point here. Come in with the smallest step on the bail making pliers and hold it here so you just can't feel, there you go, the end of the wire, and twisting your wrist in a nice gentle motion. Okay, so we've made our hoop. If you straighten things up a little bit with your chain nose, that's fine to attach a jump ring to if you want to make a pendant out of it, which I think makes a very pretty pendant. If you want to put an ear wire on it, okay, you'll need to straighten things up. So very gently, using both sets of your pliers, straighten things up here. Okay, so that's the first one made. Okay, so we'll make another one. Okay, ready for your ear wires. How pretty are they? So that's your basic herringbone. I hope you've enjoyed having a look how to make these guys. I think in future projects we'll have a look at how to do different shapes, like the coin beads, the oval beads. But these guys, just to start with, are perfect for 8mm, 6mm beads, elegant earrings. Have fun with those, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Have a good day, guys. Thanks. Bye.